Welcome back. I'm very excited to have a chance to talk with Queen Anne Cannon and Steven Currie, two of our local producers. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
So I'd love to start out by having each of you tell us what your show is and what topics it covers. Queen Anne?
So my show is called Peninsula View. It's actually called Peninsula View because it's a view of the peninsula. And it's a variety kind of show. It's no one part of it. It covers entertainment, community events, issues and concerns of the community, personal conflict. It just covers a variety of things. And it's
a talk show?
It's a talk show, and I've done entertainment on the show. I've done panel discussions, but it's a talk show.
Great. Steven?
Yes, mine is a talk show also. My host is Sheila Robinson. She was off the radio. She was a radio on-air personality, but she brings in psychologists, business people from the community, pastors, musicians. So it's a variety of people that she brings in from the community. Okay,
great. Great. Can you each tell me what role you play in the production of your show, Steven?
Okay, myself, I'm the technical director.
Okay.
And so I do the switching and the setting up of the cameras and help get the show done.
Well, my role is kind of complex because I do the producing part, I do the directing part, and I'm also an occasional host. I was a host for the most part for a lot of years, and now I share it with different other television personalities.
Okay. Okay. And I know, Queen Anne, that you lead a lot of workshops and you have expertise in conflict resolution. Does that piece of your life, you're a life coach, is that right? Right,
a life coach and a conflict resolution trainer, workshop leader.
And how does that influence your show or the way that you think about producing your show?
I think it takes all of that to produce the show, because you do to get into conflict, you do have to be able to support people and bringing out what they want to say and their concerns. And actually, I use everything. You know, I use my life skills in order to produce the show. And you get guests for the show.
Right, right, because you're interacting with people, so you need to be good at that.
It's a people show, and I think basically, I'm just really, you could say either nosy. I'm just interested in what people have to say. I'm interested in why they do it, and I use my skills as someone who works with personal development to have that viewed on the air.
Right. So you're looking at it from the perspective of growth.
Personal growth. It has to be positive. That's the one thing that's underneath everything, no matter what's on. It's something that's going to make a difference. I want to find out what difference does it make for them, and what difference would it make for the community.
And Steven, you have a day job. You're a welder.
Right, I'm a journeyman welder. I've been welding probably about 32, 33 years.
And how does that relate to being in television production for you?
Actually, it doesn't. I do video production on the side. You know, I do weddings and whatever event, you know, that I could get my hands on, you know. So I bring that to it, you know, where actually when I was in school and my teacher asked me to go and volunteer at a TV studio. So I went to Guild Cable. This was, what, 1980 or something. And Queen Anne was one of the first shows that I helped to produce a show with.
Oh, so you two have a long history.
Right. Okay. I've been doing cable TV for like 32 years. I started with Gil, and it was under Community Portrait, I think it was, with a guy named Eddie Savage. And then I got interested, I got so excited, then I put in an application and I created my show. So for a couple of years I was doing both shows. And then he came back and took it over. But it's gone through several, you know, community channel bosses or companies, you know, since I've been here.
Yeah. I'm hoping that each of you can share a story of a guest or a topic, a show that was particularly meaningful for you, that you thought was interesting.
Well, you want to go first? I can go.
Well, I can say how I had my host come in. You know, she was on the air for a radio station, local radio station, for like 20-something years. I've known her for 30 years, and I just used to imagine her doing television. So one Sunday morning I called her up, and in between songs I asked her if she ever thought about being on television, and she started snickering, and the guest that she had in the studio at the time had just asked her the same thing 5 minutes earlier, you know. So I had already applied for the show, but I didn't have a host. I was going to host it, but I thought, you know, she would do a better job. And so it's been almost 2 years now.
That's great. And Queen Anne, do you have a story of
Well, I have several. You know, being I can imagine 30 years, you know, so I had one of my popular guests, I'll start off with this one, was Tabule. He was a famous African entertainer.
Okay.
And Rebe Jackson, Michael Jackson's sister, was on my show. I've had lots of political candidates on and youth. But I don't know, I think when I had a series of teenagers, a panel of teenagers, different ages, and some adults coming in to voice what's going on with the educational system in this area. I think that was one of the ones I look fondly at. And the most recent is the one with the voices and images, the youth creating a voice for themselves and speaking their concerns on TV.
That's great. Yeah, that's really important in this community. It sounds like both of your shows allow all different kinds of folks to come on and talk about issues that are important to the community.
Exactly.
So that leads me to this point of that could happen really only at a cable access channel. I mean, you're providing voices for all different kinds of people to come in and talk about what's important to them.
That's right.
What do you think the future of your shows will be on CreaTV, on cable access? What else do we need to keep moving forward with as you produce your shows?
That's a really good question. And I think it's progressed a lot since I've started doing this. It's educated me in lots of ways in what it takes to produce a TV. I think it does add value to the community because people have access to voice their opinion, their views, and actually get their concerns over to the community in a large way. So the future, I don't know exactly what the future is going to be, but I hope it keeps progressing like it has been. Like we keep having better sets and better camera work and access to film on site. So the other thing that I think we have to tackle is the expense of it all. That's a big issue with myself as terms of a community volunteer to have access to how we get this funded.
Right. And the crew members.
And the crew, you know, to get our own people trained and developed to be able to tape our shows and take it out into the community. It still is work to be done in that area.
Right. And Steven, do you have anything you'd like to add about the future?
I'd like to see them bring in, you might be doing it already, but students from the schools. You know, I have a lot of young people that I work with. I'm a Sunday school teacher in high school level, and a lot of them are interested in coming in and helping out. And when we start getting some funding, then we would like to help them achieve that.
Oh, that would be great. I think we'd all love to see more youth in here producing.
In fact, the funding for part of my show with Voices and Images is being done by Antioch Baptist Church because they saw the benefit of having the youth come in and develop their own show, develop their own speaking, giving them, you know, not only self-confidence, but that they do have something to say and they can say it.
Right, right. Well, I want to thank both of you for taking the time to produce your shows and say what you have to say. It's just so important to have people like you out in the community reflecting what the community's thinking about. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks for helping us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back after this message.